The restaurant smelled like truffle oil and quiet money. Crystal glasses, low lighting. A pianist in the corner pretending not to watch. Ethan sat across from Lena and her parents, posture calm, hands resting lightly on the table as if this were just another polite dinner. It wasn't. Her father leaned forward first. Silver hair, tailored suit, the kind of confidence that came from never being told no. He slid a cream envelope across the table with a slow, deliberate push, stopping at inches from Ethan's untouched plate. A thin smile followed. "We think it's best for everyone," he said, voice smooth, practiced. "You've had your fun, but our daughter deserves someone who can keep up." Lena blinked. "Dad, what is this?" Ethan didn't reach for the envelope. Her mother sighed softly, as if the moment were mildly inconvenient rather than cruel. "It's not personal, sweetie. We just think it's time you outgrew fairy tales." The words hung there, heavy, deliberate, around them. Forks clinked and soft laughter floated from other tables, lives untouched by the quiet war unfolding here. Lena looked between them, confusion tightening her face. Ethan met her gaze briefly, steady, reassuring, then returned his attention to the envelope without touching it. He had requested this dinner, picked this restaurant, this exact table. He knew what was coming. For 3 years, Lena had believed she married a quiet man with a modest tech job, a preference for cheap coffee, and an almost stubbornly simple life. Ethan never corrected her. He let her father assume he was small, let her mother treat him like an afterthought. The truth was buried deeper. Ethan was a silent co-founder of the very company Lena's father served as director for. Every major decision the man had proudly signed over the last 5 years had passed across Ethan's desk first. Budgets, expansions, leadership changes, all filtered through him before reaching the board. Power, carefully disguised, and tonight he wanted to see exactly who they were without the mask. The envelope sat between them like a loaded weapon. Her father finally nudged it closer. "Go on," he said. "Open it." Ethan picked it up, feeling the weight, the crisp paper inside. He didn't unfold it. Instead, he bent it once, clean, precise, and slid it back across the table. "Unopened," Lena's voice cracked. "What the hell is this?" Her father's smile thinned. $500,000, he said plainly, to make a clean exit. No drama, no mess. Silence dropped like a curtain. Lena's face went pale. "You're paying my husband to leave me?" "He's not your future," her father replied, leaning back. "He's a phase." The words landed like a slap. Lena's eyes flicked to Ethan, searching for anger, for outrage. Something he gave none. Calm, measured, watching. Her mother reached across the table, her tone syrupy. "Take the check. Start over. We'll even help you relocate. A fresh start, somewhere you won't feel out of place." Out of place. Her father leaned forward again, elbows on the table now, voice lowering. "Let's not pretend. You married into this life because it was convenient. People do it all the time." Ethan's gaze met his, steady and unreadable. "I think people like you," the man continued, "who don't come from much always find their way to women like my daughter." Lena inhaled sharply. "Stop." But Ethan didn't react. Not outwardly. Inside, the pieces clicked exactly where he expected. He let the silence stretch, let their assumptions fill the space, let every word sharpen their image of him into something small and disposable. Because that was the point. "I wanted to see," Ethan finally said quietly, voice even, "your full colors. No filter. No restraint." They didn't understand what he meant. Not yet. But the humiliation they thought they were delivering had already turned into something else entirely. Something patient, controlled, and waiting for the right moment to unfold. Ethan drew in a slow breath, the kind that steadied everything. For a moment, it almost looked like he might laugh. Not from amusement, but from the absurdity of how precisely the night had unfolded. He glanced at Lena's father. "Do you think I married Lena for money?" The question landed softly, but it carried weight. No anger, no defensiveness, just calm certainty. The older man scoffed. "Isn't that obvious?" Ethan smiled then, not sharp, not bitter. Knowing, he turned to Lena, his voice gentler. "I didn't want to tell you like this. I never cared about impressing them. I only ever wanted you to love me for me." Her brows knit together, confusion deepening. "Tell me what?" from inside his coat. Ethan pulled a simple black business card and slid it across the table. Her father glanced at it casually, then froze. The logo stared back at him. Familiar, intimate. His company's insignia, stamped in understated silver. His eyes twitched. Ethan spoke before he could recover. I've owned 49% of it since before you even made director. The room went cold. The pianist kept playing. Glasses still clinked in the distance, but at their table, the air thickened, heavy and stunned. Her father stared, color draining from his face. You're lying, he managed, voice brittle. Ethan tilted his head slightly. I could recite the articles of incorporation, if you'd like, or the restructuring proposal from last quarter, the one where I approved your new bonus structure before it hit the board. Silence. Her father's lips parted. Nothing came out. Lena slowly picked up the card, fingers trembling. She read it once, twice. Wait, she whispered, eyes darting between Ethan and her father. 49%? Her mother let out a nervous laugh that sounded wrong even to her own ears. That's not possible. You're a barista nobody. Ethan's gaze flicked to her, steady. That's what you saw, he said evenly, because that's what I let you see. The words settled with quiet authority. He leaned back slightly, posture still relaxed, but there was something different now. Weight, presence, truth finally visible. I built that company from a rented office and 2 laptops, he continued. I've spent years in rooms where every conversation is leverage, where every relationship comes with a price tag. I wanted one part of my life that wasn't defined by money or power or people who think love comes with a receipt. Lena swallowed hard, her grip tightening on the card. Her father finally found his voice. If this is true, he said, each word forced, then why come here at all? Why sit through this? Ethan met his gaze without flinching. Because I wanted to see who you were when you thought I was beneath you. No one spoke. The truth had landed, and there was nowhere to hide from it. Her father pushed back his chair abruptly, standing, fists clenched at his sides. You humiliated us. Ethan rose calmly, smoothing his jacket. You did that all by yourselves. He turned to Lena, his expression softening. Ready to go? She hesitated only a second before standing, still dazed. They left without another word, no shouting, no spectacle. Just a quiet scrape of chairs and the steady rhythm of footsteps across polished floors. Outside, the night air felt sharper. They drove in silence, the city light streaking past the windows. Lena stared ahead, jaw tight, hands folded in her lap. Halfway home, her voice finally broke through. You were going to keep this from me forever. Ethan kept his eyes on the road. I wasn't going to tell you why your father tried to buy me off like a seasonal intern. Her head turned toward him. I don't even know what to feel right now. That's fair, he said quietly. She exhaled, long and shaky. You let me believe we were struggling. I let us live normally, he corrected. You married a man who builds quietly, who doesn't need to wear money to prove his worth. She looked down at her hands. I thought we were just starting out. I want a real relationship, Ethan said, voice steady but softer now. Not a performance. Not something built on what I could give you. Lena stared out the window, processing everything. And for the first time since the envelope hit the table, neither of them knew what came next. The call started the next morning, twice from Lena's father, both sent straight to voicemail. Then an email, one line, stripped of pride. We need to talk. This affects the board. Ethan read it once and set his phone down. They were finally beginning to understand. He held the patent behind the software driving the company's billion-dollar valuation. Not a title, not a ceremonial position. Real leverage, stamped and filed. His name inked into the documents that actually mattered. They had tried to erase him with check. Now they were learning. Power didn't always look loud until it spoke. That Thursday's board meeting arrived without fanfare. Ethan didn't RSVP. He showed up 10 minutes early. He wore the same gray sweater they'd mocked, not a suit. Deliberate, a reminder. The glass conference room fell silent the moment he stepped inside. It wasn't dramatic, more like a pressure drop, the air shifting all at once. That Lena's father sat at the head of the table, already pale. Directors leaned toward one another, whispering. Legal looked sick. Ethan walked to the far end and sat, calm, composed. He didn't greet anyone, didn't announce himself. He didn't need the leather folder rested in front of him, worn but precise. Inside, the original founder agreement, 49% ownership, veto rights, tucked neatly into Clause 17.3, the one her father had long forgotten. He let the meeting start without him. Slides flicked across the screen, projections, excitement. The acquisition her father had already promised shareholders. Ethan waited until final summary. Then he spoke. Veto, one word. The room froze. Her father's head snapped up. Excuse me? Ethan slid the folder forward, opening it just enough for the legal team to see. Clause 17.3, he said calmly. Co-founder approval required for acquisitions exceeding projected liquidity thresholds. The legal director blanched, flipping pages. He's correct. Her father's jaw tightened. This acquisition is strategic. We've already announced. You announced it, Ethan corrected, voice steady, without consulting a co-founder, without a board vote, and definitely without checking your paperwork. Silence spread that a board member cleared his throat. If that's accurate, we're looking at a breach of investor disclosure laws. The weight of it settled fast. Ethan leaned back slightly. I protected this company's core infrastructure when most of you didn't even know what two-factor authentication was. I'm not trying to sink the ship. His gaze moved around the room. I'm trying to steer it. Her father's voice came out strained. You're making this personal. Ethan held his stare. You did, the moment you slid that envelope across the table. No one defended him. The younger board member at the corner finally spoke. Maybe it's time we stop treating Ethan like a background investor, she said carefully, and start treating him like what he is, a partner. The room shifted again. Ethan nodded once. Starting tomorrow, he said, I'm not just your silent partner anymore. I'm stepping into the light. By Monday, the press release was scheduled. Ethan Shaw named co-CEO of Linhart Global. Texts poured in, former colleagues, old friends, even Lena's cousins who once joked he'd married above his station. The narrative had flipped and no longer just a husband. Now the man steering the company died in the elevator after the meeting. Her father stood beside him, shoulders rigid. You think you've won? Ethan didn't look at him. This was never a game. You humiliated me. Ethan finally turned. You did at the moment you confused quiet for weakness. The changes came quickly. Junior developers laid off for budget optics were rehired. Teams stabilized. The company breathed easier. Her father was reassigned. Non-voting advisory role. A title without teeth. He didn't argue. He knew who signed off on everything now, even his parking spot. That evening, Ethan met Lena on the rooftop where they'd first talk about dreams and what a future might look like. Wind tugged at her hair. City lights shimmered below. You really never planned to tell me, she asked softly. Not until I knew you loved the man, he said, not the name. She held up the envelope. I kept it, never opened it. Ethan took it, tore it cleanly in half. No drama. It simply never mattered. I'm sorry they saw you that way, Lena said. They only saw what I let them, he replied. She smiled faintly. Still the quiet one. He looked out at the glowing skyline, the company lights burning in the distance, no longer hidden, no longer just his. Not anymore. He didn't need a shout to arrive. He had simply waited until the silence was just a break.